Hello and welcome to the kind of Beardicus show. I think we're gonna stick with that name, at least for now. We haven't come up with a better one. As you can tell, I'm still not Beardicus, and I know I haven't made a single video in, what, 3 years? 3 years and change now, right? It's been like 3 years and 3 months, I think. Actually, I wanted to have this video ready for the 3-year anniversary, but time got away from me a little bit, as you could probably tell. And obviously, in that time, a bunch of games have come out that I didn't talk about. So I figured, instead of making a bunch of different videos about all those games and talking about them individually, I would make one big video where I just covered some of the bigger games that I've played in the last few years that I felt like talking about. And one surprise video as well. Well, one surprise topic in the video. It's still one video. It's gonna be the Mario movie. It's not a surprise. Don't, there's no reason to build up any suspense. It's just gonna be the Mario movie. Okay, so 10 games and a movie, and that's, so honestly, this is going to be a really big video already. I don't know why I have to keep rambling on about this, so maybe we should just jump into the first game. So the first game that I want to talk about is Shantae and the Seven Sirens. This is the 5th game in the Shantae series, and we talked about the 4th game at some point on this channel, and I think the general consensus among the Shantae fan base in general, or even if not, at least my personal opinion is that Shantae 4 lost a lot of the appeal of the Shantae series because it was just a 2D platformer instead of a Metroidvania, which is what Shantae usually is. But as you can see here, I'm showing you the map because this one is a return to form. This game is just a Metroidvania again. It's just one big continuous map. You go back and forth when you get new powers and stuff. So it's a lot more interesting. But that's not the only thing that it's changed. They've also changed it. So this is the dance menu. You'll notice these aren't transformations. Instead, you pick something and then some kind of thing, this weird PNG pops up on screen. Actually, I guess that's a GIF because it's a movie. Anyway, the point is that you don't transform through dancing anymore. You get these like ladies popping up. Instead, you just like press buttons, and so you press ZR in this case, and you turn into a newt. You do a little dash. Which, on that note, they've also changed the transformation. So instead of using the traditional ones like the monkey and the elephant and all that, you've got a newt doing the dash. You have, oh, that's not the one I meant to do, but there's an octopus for multiple jumps for some reason. It's kind of weird. How do you slam? Wait, hang on. I can figure this out. There it is. You get a giant turtle instead of giant spiky turtle instead of an elephant. So I don't know. It's just kind of weird, I guess. That I mean, it's neat. They changed the transformations. The differences are basically just cosmetic for the most part, but they altered it. They gave it like a new coat of paint. It's interesting. Anyway, the point is, this game, it's a return to form. It's fun. It's a good game. It's better than the 4th game. I don't think it's the best game in the Shantae series, but it's better than the worst game, and that's something. It's not a great game, but it's good. It's fun. I had fun with it. I had enough fun to do 3 different playthroughs, I think. Yeah, because I did the hard mode playthrough, and I did a low percent run and 100% run. So there's at least 3 playthroughs. I don't know, whatever. The point is, I had fun with it. And that's it. So the second game I wanted to talk about is Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair. Yooka-Laylee is another game that we talked about on this channel before. I think we may have been a little too lenient on it. That was back before we wanted to say anything bad about any games. But that's not important because we're talking about the Impossible Lair this time. And this right here is the titular impossible layer. It's called that because it's basically a 20-minute long gauntlet. I actually have footage from it from my first time beating it, so I'll probably just overlay that over what I'm saying right now. So if I disappear from the screen, that's why. Basically, the impossible layer is a 20-minute long gauntlet of platforming challenges. Originally, it didn't have any checkpoints, but they later added that in to make the game a little easier because the impossible layer was really, really difficult, even after beating the rest of the game. Whereas, for me, the main gimmick about the impossible layer is that you can enter it at any point. But it gets easier and easier the later you do it. And the reason for that is because of the bees. So if you look at the top of the screen, just off center to the right, there's that bee icon with the 48 next to it. Those are Beatallion guards. And you collect Beatallion guards by beating all of the levels in the game. See, you've got this level here with two different versions. Capital Causeway and Capital Causeway Chaos version. And by beating this level in both versions, you will get one Beatallion guard each. And I think every level is like that, where you can get 2 Beatallions from every level. And I want to say there are 20 levels in the game. And basically, the more Beatallion guards you get, some Beatallion guards can be found around the map, but the one constant about them is that Beatallion guards make the impossible layer easier. Well, they make the not so impossible layer easier. I think the point of the impossible layer is that you can play the level whenever you want with 0 Beatallion guards, which was the original point of it, I guess, was that you could challenge it with 0 Beatallion guards. But I haven't even explained what the Beatallion guards do. So the Beatallion guards follow you into the level, and each of them will take 1 hit for you. So if I go in right now, I'll get 48 extra hits before I actually take damage. And then when you're out of guards, you can still take an extra hit, but doing so will cause you to lose Laylee, which hinders your abilities. Although you can grab Laylee back if she doesn't get too far away. Kind of like Yoshi in Super Mario World. The first thing I did in this game, and it doesn't show it here because it was a different file, but the first thing I did was the impossible layer with 0 Beatallion guards, and I'm actually kind of interested to take a look at that file now that I think about it. So if we save and quit, we can head over to that file. It'll take a little while to load. This game does not load very fast, but that might be because this is the Switch version. In the meantime, I can talk about the other levels, because the impossible layer is only one of the levels. Now, like I said, it was the first level I played, and it took me about a week to beat, as you're going to see in a second. Well, you won't see that part of it, but you will see. This was my first time beating it, and it took me 40 hours and 39 minutes. This file, by the way, I beat it on a clean file, because back when I beat it, in order to get the good ending, you had to beat the impossible layer on a new file. So after spending 40 hours beating it up here, I then had to go back and beat it again. But fortunately, it was a lot easier. It only took like 10 extra tries at that point. But here, let's load into this file and see what it looks like. See what the impossible layer stats say. Because this one I beat without any Beatallion guards, which would be the equivalent of doing the actual impossible layer. So I am actually interested to see if, like the other file, if it transferred my data over to the not-so-impossible layer just to spite me. I really hope not. I'll be upset if it does, but anyway, so I played this game for 40 hours over the course of 8 days when I first got it, before I played any level except the impossible layer. So by the time I got to the other levels, for, you know, when I eventually went back to 100% the game, it got kind of old kind of fast. Like, if you split all of the levels into two, there are 40 levels in the game, I think. Oh, she's not here. Does that mean... Oh, no, it says it's, yeah, did not update. That's cool. Okay. So yeah, 374 attempts. I'm not doing another one though. I want that number to stay exactly like that forever. That's the marker for how long it actually took. In fact, I'm not gonna save and quit from this because I don't want to change any of the numbers. So I will be back in a second once I reload to the title screen. So, oh, there she is. That's why she wasn't up there. Okay, interesting. So anyway, I'll be right back. I guess there's no reason to wait for it to load in. I just wanted to mention a few more things. So the levels, like I said, there are basically 40 levels in the game, but once you spend 40 hours on one level, the rest of them kind of drag on a bit. I did have fun 100% of the game for a while, but by about the halfway point, it got old, and I wasn't really having fun anymore. But that might be because of the way that I played it. At this point, you don't have to beat the impossible layer on a fresh save anymore. So, like, you can 100% it, then go into the impossible layer with 0 battalions, and that's perfectly acceptable. Now, there was one thing about this file, though, and I want to see if they changed this with the update. Originally, when you beat a file on the first try, that file was basically bricked. Like, every time you loaded into it, it went straight to the epilogue, which I didn't dislike. I thought that was kind of neat. But I'm interested to see if they changed that. Because I have not loaded this file since before the Not So Impossible update. While it's loading, I'll just give my final thoughts. The levels get kind of boring and samey, which, I mean, it's a 2D platformer, that kind of thing happens. But the map is like a 3D adventure, and I really should have shown it off a bit more. But it is pretty interesting. There are parts of it where, like, you interact with something, you'll turn on a fan, for example, and then that will affect one of the nearby levels. Like, you turn on the fan, and then one of the nearby levels becomes all windy. And I think that's pretty neat. Oh yeah, it does. It still goes straight into the epilogue. And I'm not gonna show it off. You gotta earn this for yourself, I'm afraid. But, yeah, so that's basically it. It's a fun game, but it gets kind of boring, at least if you play it the way I did. But at the same time, I was really invested in pants. I was really... Oh, you can't even see that. My face is in the way. Here, I'll disappear myself so you know what I was referring to. How do I do that? There's a Pants magazine. And that's the British version of Pants. So anyway, yeah, the basic levels did get kind of boring, but remember, that was after I had already spent like 40 plus hours playing this game for a week, basically non-stop. So it did keep me invested for a long time before I got bored. So even playing it my way still gave me a lot of fun. I still got a lot of enjoyment out of it. Plus, on the bright side, you only have to beat the Not So Impossible you only have to beat the impossible layer once before you permanently unlock the golden tonic. So there you go. Overall, I had fun with this game. It was better than the original Ukulele. It's not my favorite 2D platformer, but if you want a grueling platforming challenge, then maybe give the impossible layer a try with 0 battalion guards. If you're not so good at platforming games, then honestly the not so impossible layer will probably be enough of a challenge, if not too much of a challenge. I've seen a lot of people say that even the not so impossible layer is too difficult, which, I mean, if it is, then don't beat it. There's nothing wrong with beating the rest of the game and stopping at the impossible layer. And I think that'll do it for this section of the video. Honestly, that overdid it for this section of the video, so let's just move on to the next one. The third game I wanted to talk about is Pokemon Legends Arceus. The ukulele section went on a little long, so I'm going to go through this one a little faster. I'm going to try to keep things going now. So this game is a very unique Pokemon game. It doesn't really... It's honestly just a completely different game set in the Pokemon world, but it's not really a Pokemon game in the traditional sense. There are no gyms or anything like that. Your main goal is to catch as many Pokemon as you can, and you can see on the top, I have seen, caught, and reached research level 10 with all 241 Pokemon. Technically, there is a 242nd Pokemon in the game, but you need... Well, for the 241st one, I think you need Pokemon Sword or Shield data. And for the 242nd Pokemon, I think you need the Gen 4 remakes data. I don't have the Gen 4 remake data. I actually borrowed one of the Gen 4 remakes from my sister. She never opened it, and I still haven't gotten around to opening it, even though it's right there. But, yeah, so that one's maybe not that popular in this family, but anyway, the point is that, what was the point? The point is that this game is very unique compared to most Pokemon games, because the goal isn't, you know, it's not to beat trainers, although you do have to fight every now and then, and let me tell you, every single time the game was like, oh, you gotta fight me, I was like, oh, come on, I don't wanna. Because traditional Pokemon games never really appealed to me, because I don't want to be the very best, like no one ever was. To catch them is my real test. To train them is not my cause, though. I just like catching a lot of Pokemon. Whenever I play a main Pokemon game, the rare occasions that I'll play one, I usually run around each area until I catch every Pokemon in that area, and then I move on, and I usually work on as much of a living dex as I can, but given that people generally don't like trading away legendaries for, you know, free, it's hard to get a full living dex, especially when you don't own every Pokemon game. But I'm getting sidetracked. The point is that this game is more about catching a lot of Pokemon. The main point is to catch every Pokemon and to research them as much as possible. This game is essentially the closest I will ever get to being a Pokemon professor, which, if I had the chance, would be the profession that I would want in a Pokemon game. That being said, this game does get a little grindy. And you can see that here. Let's head down to like Bidoof. No, where are the bug Pokemon? Wurmple. No, there were definitely some that you had to catch like 40 Pokemon, weren't there? Maybe 25 was the most. I don't know. Okay, but even then, right? You got Zubat here. If you want to fully complete each part of Zubat's Pokedex entry, you need to catch 25 Zubats and defeat 25 Zubats. That's at least 50 Zubats, not to mention all the other stuff you have to do. And generally, like, a lot of it's not that bad. I mean, defeat them with a Rock-type move. Okay, well, you have to defeat 25 of them anyway, so just defeat 10 of them with a Rock-type move, and you can, so to speak, kill 2 birds with 1 stone. In this case, kill 2 bats with 1 stone. Or rather, kill 25 bats with 10 stones. That's not... No, kill 10 bats with 10... Anyway, the point is... fortunately, you don't have to do every challenge. You only have to do enough challenges to reach research level 10, in order to have completed the Pokedex. That being said, I think I'm only 9 out of 10 stars, but I'm getting distracted. I literally just said that I wanted to keep this part short. So, the point is, the bottom line, I really enjoyed this game, even with how grindy it gets at points, and how much, there is also a lot of waiting. If you're trying to catch multiple Rowlets or Cyndaquils or whatever, you're gonna be waiting a long time. And just final note, I would be more than happy to play future Pokemon Legends games. And given that Gen 1 was the generation that I was most into, the only one that I was really into, you know, if they want to make a Pokemon Legends Mewtwo or Mew or whatever, yeah, I'd be into that. Yeah, I'd be into it. I think that's enough for this game. So let's move on to the next one, and I'll try to be fast in that one too. Try to actually be fast at that one. Okay, the fourth game? Whatever the last game was, add 1 to that, and that's what number game this one is. This game is, obviously, if the title screen didn't give it away, this game is Animal Crossing New Horizons. So, Metroid Dread is a Metroid game. It is the latest 2D Metroid game in the Animal Crossing series. And it is the first one to come out since I became a Metroid fan. I think I played my first Metroid game. I'll just run around a little bit while I'm talking about this one. We're not going to talk about this one for long, I promise. I've got like 3 notes on this one. It shouldn't take long. The first time I played a Metroid game was when I was a kid. It was Metroid Prime, and I couldn't get into it. And even today, I still can't really get into it. I don't know. I went back to it recently. I can't. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of FPS games, I guess. That being said, back in, what was it, like 2011-ish? It was like 10 years ago, something like that, that the 3DS Ambassador program happened. When that happened, one of the games released was Metroid Fusion, and I played it. And that was the first time I played a 2D Metroid game, and I really liked it. And that was also the last 2D Metroid game, or true 2D Metroid game, that they released for a while. And I'm pretty sure the reason was that Nintendo was giving me specifically the chance to go back through the series and play all the other games that I had never played before. And I really appreciated that. So, Nintendo, if you're watching, thank you. And I'm glad that you can, I caught up so you can start making Metroid games again. And I'm going off on this long tangent because I'm going to be completely honest here. I don't think I really have much to talk about with this one. It was a really fun game. It was challenging, I guess. I mean, how challenging could it really have been? I beat hard mode on a low percent run. Me! I'm not good at Metroid games. The reason I'm using the screw attack right now is because I literally can't remember how to play this game. Now, there is one other thing I wanted to talk about with this. So, the 2D Metroid game before this was the remake of Metroid 2. And that game introduced the melee counter, which I think is still in this somehow. I don't know how to use it, but... So, the point of all of this is that this game is fun. Like I said, there's honestly not much else for me to say. It was a fun game. I really enjoyed it. How do you grapple beam? Nope, that was a missile. Nope, that's not it. Nope. You know, it doesn't matter because oh, there's the melee attack. The next game I want to talk about is Fire Emblem Engage, and you'll notice that this is not gameplay, this is just an image of me dying to a 7% hit. This is actually a replay, so you can watch it happen. Actually, the beginning of it's pretty fun because I had full health. This guy crit with an 11% chance. So, and then because of that, then this happened and I died. Okay, but anyway, the reason that there's no gameplay this time is because I've actually uninstalled Fire Emblem Engage, so I can't play it at the moment. So you're just gonna have to settle for this. Don't worry, Fire Emblem Engage, this one's gonna be an actually short section. I don't mean like in Metroid Dread where I got completely sidetracked. Anyway, so, Fire Emblem Engage. The story, first of all, was not very engaging. The gameplay, however, was. The gameplay really carries this game. That and the avatar. The avatar's design, I don't even remember, Alier, I think? Their design with the blue and red hair is really funny. And I like that. I think that it was really funny. I think that the other characters just spending the entire time just... what's the word? I guess fawning over you is really annoying, but whatever. It doesn't really matter. It's not like it ruins the story, because the story's already bad. Because the four... what are they? Like the hounds? Or whatever? The hounds are like the bosses of 8 out of like 20 chapters, and it's ridiculous because you just keep fighting them over and over, and every single time they're like, oh, now you're in for it, and it's like, are you sure? Because the last 7 times we fought, this did not go well for you. Why do you think it's gonna go well now? Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. So the point is, the story's bad, the game is good, the avatar design is silly, but I think it's silly in a good way. Power creep. Your early game units, for the most part, your early game units get outclassed real fast. But all that stuff, I mean, I'm not like a hardcore Fire Emblem person. I'm not a try-hard at Fire Emblem. But even I think that the stat discrepancies were a little ridiculous. So that downside, like the worst downside about this game is the story. The character power creep is bad, but it's not like that bad. And other than that, the gameplay is good. So all in all, I enjoyed this game. And that's really all there is to say about it, except that I do have one other replay to show off. Actually, this one's funny too. We'll probably cut out both of those replays as we move on to the next game on the list. Okay, so if my count is correct, which it is because I have it all written down here, we have gone through 5 out of 10 games. And that is notable because the last 5 games, I didn't say this going in, I maybe should have, but the last 5 games are all Mario games because, I mean, I'm me. Obviously, I'm a big Mario fan. The first game we're talking about is Mario & Rabbids Sparks of Hope, another game that we talked about, the prequel on this channel before. And I'm going to be honest, this game is mostly just more of the same. It is a very similar game. There are some... I mean, it's not the same game. It's obviously... there are differences. In fact, one of the main complaints I had for the first game was the lack of freedom in the character select. Like the party select menu, I guess. In the first game, you had 3 party members. You had to bring Mario and a rabbit to every into your party every time. And as you can see from this party, that is no longer the case. Because first of all, the Luigi is my party leader. which I'll be honest was actually a mistake. But we'll get to that in a second. The other thing is, so there are no rabbits in the party either, which goes to show that you don't need any rabbits in your party. Wait, how do I switch party members? So when I said that the Ouija being the leader was a mistake, that was because I haven't mentioned this yet, but I probably should. This is my second time recording this video. I recorded it once about a week ago, and I was showing off the different character combinations. So I was like, oh, see, you can swap Mario out of the party, or if you really want to, you can just have an entire team of Rabbids. I don't know why you would want to, but you can if you want. If you're weird, you can just have a bunch of Rabbids. You don't have to have Mario on your team. But obviously, I want the Mario character, so I was setting it back up like this, thinking that the character that the cursor here defaults to, the one on the right, I was thinking that was the party leader, so I set it up like this, and then I left, and I was like, oh wait, no, the Ouija's the leader, but it's fine, it doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to kind of do this really briefly, because the last time I played this, a week ago, when I was recording this the first time, I showed off one of the fights, and I really don't want to do that again, so I'll just explain the parts of it that are important, because honestly, there's a lot of downtime if I do a fight. Anyway, the point is, first of all, sparks. Okay, we're gonna cut all of that out, because basically I was getting really distracted explaining how sparks work. The point is that in the first game, when your weapon scores a critical hit, it would have some sort of status effect that it would affect enemies with. That's not the case anymore. Now all status effects are done through sparks. So this guy, for example, you activate this guy during a battle, and he guarantees that all of your attacks for one turn will use the Gust super effect, which for a strategy game is probably a good thing, because it takes out all the randomness from the equation, but it does make critical hits less fun, and that's not fun. Oh, and I forgot to mention, Yoshi's not in the game. They took out Yoshi and Rabbid Yoshi. Okay, just cut all of that out. Okay, because I'm still getting too distracted. The point I wanted to say is that they removed Yoshi from the game, and that bugs me, because the whole reason I wanted to take Mario off of the team was so that I could have Yoshi on the team, as well as the close range fighter and the long range fighter. But you take Yoshi off of the team, and what am I gonna do? Replace Mario with somebody else? What do you think I'm gonna put Rabbid Peach on the team? What? No, she doesn't even have full health. Why would I do that? So one of the positives of re-recording this video is that in the original version I called these guys random encounters, but they're not really random, because I mean, they're there, you can see them. It's probably more accurate to call them wandering encounters, or like respawning encounters. So the wandering encounters, they're just really annoying, especially because your level maxes out at 30, which is relatively low. I don't even know... Like, if you ignored every wandering encounter, I don't know what level you would finish the game at. But I really feel like you don't need to fight that many wandering encounters, and the fact that they just keep respawning infinitely is really annoying. I personally preferred the level up mechanics from the first game, where as you progress through the game you just get the skill points to fill in your skill tree, as opposed to it being, you know, you'll level up as you fight enemies. I don't really like that part. That being said, with the new freedom of the character customization and the revamped like combat in the game, where I might be able to show it off a little bit. I have some replays. Okay, well, you know what, we'll go into a battle just to show what I mean, but there are some revamps. You can dash into enemies and that'll give you an advantage going into the fight, or they can dash you, which I'm not sure really has an effect because it doesn't really punish you that hard, but let's skip, and we'll start with, oh, hang on, let's start with this, go with Mario, we'll do like a little power-up boost thing here, and then I'll just kind of show what I was talking about. So the mechanics now, you like run around freely before you do anything, and you can, so I can have Peach like run over here, and then Mario can team jump off of her, bounce all the way over here, and do some of these before, I guess, heading over here or something, and then we can... Can I shoot that guy? Yeah, I can. Oh, but oh no, I'm not out of actions, wait. But anyway, so then, here, we can... Yeah, we'll just... Oh, no, I didn't want to do that. Well, I did it anyway, I guess. So that's fun. Then we can have Peach. She can do, like, her little thing here. So, you know, you can run around freely. So Peach could run over here, use her ability, and then run all the way over here and not have wasted any actions. And that's pretty fun. And then you've got Luigi can maybe just run to any position where he can shoot that guy. And then we can activate his Steely Stare, which will basically just finish the fight, probably. And then Peach still has her attack, so I guess we'll just blast this guy. It looks like that won't kill him, but it's worth trying. And then Luigi will finish him off, because Luigi is busted. And he's just gonna do that. And then he's gonna do that. So, like, the combat is probably better. I don't like the way the team jump works as much in this game. I don't like how slow it is with how, like, you just, like, gently glide over as opposed to, like, building the path first, but I understand why it can't work that way, I guess. But with other factors, mostly the level up mechanics, I just can't say that this game is 100% better. And it's... Honestly, I've given this a lot of thought as to whether I think this game is better or worse than the first game, and I'm not sure there's really an answer. I think that it's... I kind of think it's just the same. I don't know if any game has ever made me say it's just exactly the same, quality-wise, as the first game. It's just so similar. Not similar like there's no point in playing this if you've played the first game. I just mean that it's like the level of quality is just so similar to the first game. It's actually, I genuinely couldn't tell you if I like this one more or less. Okay, so the 7th game, right? I think the 7th game on the list is Mario Party Superstars. This is the latest Mario Party game, obviously, and it is notable for one major reason. Basically, Mario Party games have been going for like 20 years at this point, and they've been kind of steadily going downhill. especially after the GameCube era. And this one was the first one to kind of be like, hey, what if, like, if we can't make good Mario parties anymore, maybe we should just take some of the board maps from the good ones. So basically, if you're familiar with Mario Party 2, you might recognize this board map. This is Horrorland from Mario Party 2. This game has 5 board maps, 2 from Mario Party 1, 2 from Mario Party 2, and 1 from Mario Party 3. It's kind of weird. I should have showed this off when I was selecting the map, but the order that they're listed on the board map. Oh my god, Shy Guy. The order that they're listed on the select screen. You gotta wait for the love letter. Aha, see? I know what's up. On the select screen is a little weird because it's like they all have difficulty settings or like difficulty ratings, but they're kind of weird because Horrorland is rated as difficulty 5, even though it's a pretty basic map. But Mario Party 1's Yoshi's Tropical Island is only difficulty 1, even though the entire gimmick of that course is that Toadette and Bowser can just switch places at any given moment, and I don't know, it's just really weird. Anyway, that's not really important, but if you've ever played, I think it was Mario Party 5, maybe 6, you might recognize that minigame I just played. Catch You Letter, which is from one of the GameCube Mario parties. This Mario Party basically took 100 minigames from throughout the series, in addition to the 5 board maps, and it built its entire minigame library out of pre-existing minigames. Similar to what Mario Party Top 100 did, except this one has good board maps to go along with it. That being said, not all the minigames they picked were, great, but they do have some good ones in there. So the point is that what was the point? What was I saying? Overall, it is one of the better Mario parties. Oh my god, I can't. Yeah, it's a good thing this isn't I'm not gonna finish this. Because, I can't roll for anything right now. It's a pretty good Mario Party. They did pick some of the good mini-games, and the maps are decent, at least, but I will say that it's weird that they didn't at least make, like, a couple of DLCs for the later Mario parties. Like, if they had a GameCube map pack, that'd be pretty cool. Or like even if it was just like one map from, I don't know, from like three other Mario parties. I think that would have gone a long way to making this a really good Mario Party, but I mean, for what it is probably the best Mario Party we've gotten in a while, so at least there's that. I don't like that even the losers of Mario, of the minigames still get, still get some coins, but what are you gonna do? Everybody's gotta be a winner these days, you know what I mean? Something important to mention is that unlike Super Mario Party, this game launched with the ability to just play online. Unlike Super Mario Party, where you had to wait like 3 years after it came out for it to finally get released. Oh, the Final Countdown, that's such a lame minigame. Okay, I think it's Mario Party, there's really not much to say about it. The next game I want to talk about is Mario Golf Star Rush. Super Rush. Star Rush was a Mario Party minigame. The next game I want to talk about is Mario Party Super Rush. The next game I want to talk about is The next game I want to talk about is Mario Golf Super Rush. So, we'll get into the gameplay stuff in a minute. I just want to show off some of the character stats first. Unlike previous Mario Golf games, where characters had different shot trajectories, sometimes, draws, some fades, some high shots, some low shots, everybody in this game has a straight shot, and while the control does differ between the different characters, I've never really noticed much of a difference. And even the power, the drive of each character is not that different. I think Toad has the lowest shot at 208, or the shortest drive at 208, and King Bob-omb has the longest at 230. That's only a difference of 22 yards, which really doesn't make that big a difference. It might be the difference on a par 4 between landing on the green in 2 shots rather than 3 shots, but on a par 5, it's probably going to take you 3 shots no matter who you are. And on a par 3, if you're not getting on the green in 1 shot, I hate to say it, but you're the problem. Okay, with all that said, I think I'm going to play a quick round and kind of get into the gameplay aspects. Okay, so we are going into the actual game stuff now, so, first of all, Mario Golf is all about playing golf as Mario characters. Now that may not sound like a fun premise, but let me just tell you that Mario Golf, when I was a kid, Mario Golf 64 was one of my favorite games. And I still, to this day, love Mario Golf. In fact, when this game was announced, I have a recording of my reaction to this game's reveal trailer. I will play that right now. And welcome back. So now, let's get into talking about the actual gameplay. So, if you've ever played a Mario Golf game before this one, you might know that they drastically changed the way shots work in this. So originally, the bar was on the bottom of the screen, and now the bar it's on the side. And that alone, that's already an unforgivable change. But even beyond that, though, in the older games, you used to have to hit the A button 3 times to take a shot. You'd hit it once to start the meter, once to set how strong the shot was, and then once to set the angle of the shot. And if you screwed up that last button input, you could end up really screwing up your shot and like shanking it straight off to the side. And Mario Golf Toadstool Tour introduced the ability to have an automatic shot. So you would press A to start the meter, A to set the power, and then the game would automatically set the angle. It would do like a random little, a random number generator would just pick what the angle was at that point. Or the second button input, if you pressed B, you would do it manually, so you would still have to do the 3 inputs. This game doesn't give you that option. You press A to start the meter, you press A to stop the meter, and that's it. Or, you press B to stop the meter if you want to give the ball backspin. Or, I mean, you can do BB for super backspin or AA for topspin. The point is that they have dramatically dumbed down the actual gameplay of this game. Which I think is a shame. I think that Mario Golf... Oh, I didn't mean to give that topspin. Well, it's fine. Whatever. I wanted to hit the ball higher to hit it over the tree, but it's fine. I'm a little rusty. What else do we have to talk about? So, this is a bad example of that happening, but this course... the courses in this game, I mean, are pretty... They're not as interesting as previous Mario Golf games were. Wow, that was par 5? Yeah, with a little bit of luck, you could easily get an albatross here. Anyway, it's like we want to hit it like over here, I think. So a lot of the courses feel a lot more samey, and that's not exact. This is a bad course to use as an example. Oh, I can't go to the map. So we'll just have to go to another map after this. But, like, if you compare the maps in this game to the courses in, say, Mario Golf Toadstool Tour, these aren't nearly as unique. Like, Toadstool Tour had you shooting around Bowser's Castle. This game has a Bowser course, but it's not as interesting because every course has to be, like, one map. So let's go to a different course. Okay, so we're going to a different course so I can show this off a little better, but... Oh, actually, this was... So I said that last course was a bad example, but since we randomly got this course, it was actually a really good example, because this course is basically the same thing as that last course. How do I show the map? Oh, here we go. Okay. So you can see... at the top of the screen, that's one of the greens. There's another green there, and over there, and over there. It's just... You can see all 18 greens and all 18 tees all the time. And here, let's switch again so that we can check out an extra course here. This time we'll actually pick one. Let's go to Bonnie Greens. It's a good course to start with. We'll just go with 3 random holes, random tees, with special shots. Okay. So this time I will, I'll show off what I mean a little bit better. So, oh cool, we got Luigi. So you can see, if I could like pan the camera, that'd be really cool, but you know, you can see I'm on this hole here, but then there's another hole there, right next to another hole right next to it, another hole over here. You can see the entire course, and I think that's really cool. The downside to that is that it does mean that they can't have like super creative holes anymore. So like the Bowser course is very similar to this, just instead of grass everywhere, there are more rocks and lava and a couple enemies here and there. But it's still basically the same thing. You're not like hitting the ball around Bowser's Castle, you're just hitting the ball around a golf course themed after Bowser's Castle. And that sort of causes all of the courses in this game to feel very the same after a while. And in my notes, I described it as this game being a dumbed-down version of Mario Golf. And nothing exemplifies that better than Adventure Mode. Actually, just the different modes in this game in general do a good job of explaining that. Really quick, let's show off one of the special shots. So, when your meter fills up, you can press L and you'll do a special shot like so. The problem with these special shots is that in versus mode online, everybody, if multiple people have a special shot ready, you kind of end up in this like Mexican standoff because nobody wants to use their special shot first, because if you do, then when your ball lands, if somebody else uses a special shot, they can blast you off of the course, and nobody wants that. So everybody ends up just kind of sitting there and waiting for the other person to shoot first. It got to the point where Nintendo literally had to patch the ranked mode so that special shots weren't active anymore. At least not in standard mode. I didn't play a lot of, what's that other mode? Speed golf. I didn't play a lot of speed golf, which, by the way, I'm pretty sure that this game was dumbed down a lot, specifically for speed golf, because I think that Camelot kind of got it in their heads that the people playing Mario Golf don't want to play the golf part of Mario Golf. And that's... I don't know about everybody else, but that's definitely not true for me. There's one other thing I want to show off before we talk about adventure mode. But I pointed out how you can see the other holes on the course. But in addition to that, you can actually shoot your ball onto the other holes. And there's no penalty for it. I mean, technically, if this were a regular game of golf, I don't think you'd be allowed to use the... I don't think you'd be able to, like, hit the ball off the green like this, but that's fine. Nobody's watching. Oh, whoops. Didn't mean to do that yet. So, in this particular case, you probably don't want to, because that was, like, way off to the side, but... in other courses, the holes are closer together, so it's actually, like, it's actually kind of a fun way to do things. This is just a bad example, but I wanted to show it off. So, other than that, we can also talk about adventure mode, and I'll just go over this really quick. Honestly, I could probably make an entire video about Mario Golf, so I'll probably just go over all the other points really, really quickly. But adventure mode has a bunch of other features that weren't in any other mode in this game. For example, you can... that third click method that I was talking about is actually in adventure mode under certain circumstances. I think it was called the Duff Meter, and it actually turned into a means of fighting bosses. I've never seen that quiet sign before. That's pretty cool. So it turned into a means to fight bosses, which is kind of neat, but also, like, why isn't there a way to... Why not have some way of activating that in standard play? Why is that only in adventure mode? Then you can also buy different clubs to give yourself extra power, and some clubs have different effects. Like, there are some shots that hit the ball really low, but if you're in the bunker, you'll hit the ball without any negative side effects or something like that. There's a club that hits the ball, and if you hit it in the water, it'll, like, skim the surface of the water. And, oh, and of course, tournament mode. I don't know why they did away with tournament mode, but they did. And then cross-country golf. So cross-country golf kind of goes into what I was saying about being able to hit the ball onto any hole with no penalties. In adventure mode, in I think the second or third course, they do something called cross-country golf, where you have to sink the ball into, like, 3 or 4 holes, but it doesn't matter what order, and you go straight from one hole to the next. So, like, you start on the tee, you hit it into one of the holes, then you start from that hole and you hit it into the next hole. And it's a really interesting way to play it, and it leads to, like, this interesting method or this interesting, like, strategic gameplay where it's like, well, maybe I don't want to hit it straight into the maybe I don't want to hit it straight into the nearest hole, because then I'll have to hit it up the hill after that. Maybe I want to start at the top and work my way down, right? And that seems like the perfect mode for this game, because you could have just had people be like, okay, I want to activate holes 3, 5, and 8 for this particular run. Oh, I didn't mean to start over. I want to play holes 3, 4, and 8 for this particular run, and then it wouldn't matter what order you went to those holes, it would just matter that you got to them. Oh, hang on. So we're going to... we'll just play that. I'll go random. 4 randoms. And then we'll show off the Bowser Castle, of course, because I was kind of talking about this one. 3 random, whatever. Okay. So, you know, you would just set a bunch of holes, and then you would be able to just figure out the best ways to play those holes. And, you know, sometimes... And then you would be able to try a whole bunch of different combinations of holes and see which ones led to the most fun gameplay, and I don't know. I think that not letting us play cross-country golf was a huge oversight. And then the last thing I wanted to show off here is the new feature where in multiplayer, hey, they gave me the Ouija again. Cool. So in multiplayer, they added in a feature where you can... Are we gonna make... Oh, that's a bridge. We're fine. They added in a feature where everybody can take their shot at the same time. And I think that that is the best change to this game. And that's really all I wanted to show off. So we'll just finish out this hole. Or not, depending on how long it takes. Can't you... Oh, can't... No, you hit the wrong button. I wanted this one. So it's 15 yards, down half a yard, and it looks like we're gonna curve to the right. So we want to aim more like over here, and then probably something like that. Oh, yes! Anyway, sorry. And yeah, that's pretty much everything. I feel like I could honestly just make this its own video, so I think I'm going to end this part of the video here, and we'll move on to the next game. Okay, so I just remembered that I forgot to mention Battle Golf here entirely. And that probably tells you a lot about the game already, but here's the thing. This opening scene here introduces Battle Golf, and it has the characters playing to 10 flags, which means whoever scores 10, sinks the ball into 10 holes first wins. The thing is, Battle Golf, or wait, that's, sorry, 8 flags or 9 flags, I don't, whatever. The point is, in-game, you can't customize how many flags you go for. It is always 3 flags. And I feel like that wasn't the intention, or else the cutscene here wouldn't have done that. So Battle Golf was not good, but Battle Golf isn't bad. It's decent for what it is, I guess, but it definitely wasn't a replacement for all of the modes that we lost, except for Ring Shot. Because anybody who is upset that Ring Shot isn't in this game never played Ring Shot. Ring Shot was bad, and I will not hear any arguments to the contrary. But overall, as a longtime fan of Mario Golf games, I thought this game was good. For what was there. I feel like there should have been more there. They certainly should have had other modes, and they should have given you more freedom in the modes that are there. But what is there is fun. So that's my opinion. It's a good game for what little game there is. Okay, So we are heading into Mario Strikers match. Would you believe it randomed me the Luigi again? It didn't. I chose the Luigi. I did random the other 3 characters. So it did randomly give me Yoshi at least. Let's see if I can remember how to play. I just played this the other day. Okay, so a couple of things about this game that I'm not a huge fan of is that they switched which button was pass and which one was shoot, which, needless to say, has caused me no end of confusion and is, in fact, the reason that I take so long to do a lot of things in this game, because I have to like stop and think about what I'm doing. But I mean, I recognize that that's not a huge issue. I should probably look at my notes really quick. Okay, so getting into the actual stuff here. Sorry, I was very distracted focusing. This game takes a lot of concentration for me for some reason. So, okay. I was never a huge fan of the Mario Strikers game to begin with. I personally thought that I thought that they were fun games. Don't get me wrong, but I just didn't think there was all that, much to them. I mean, they had like the tournament mode, but that was really it in the GameCube version at least. Wow, this is going very differently from how it did last time. So one of the worst parts about re-recording this is that I'm not going to be using the footage from last week. And the Mario Strikers footage last time was really, really exciting. It was, It was like, it was going very differently than it is right now. 3 minutes into the 4-minute match, I was down 4-1. And then I came back in the last minute, and it was a really exciting game. This time, it's just kind of like, well, gee, I wonder who's gonna win. Oh, look at this. This is perfect. Let's use the super. Come on. Oh, you can't even see it. Oh, I forgot my face was over there. Well, it was, this is one of the supers. This is a perfect one, so it's definitely going in. The supers work just like they did in the first game, where, like, you get the 2 meters, you get the meter, you gotta hit it twice, and if you do it perfectly, that happens. Where the goalie doesn't even get the chance to stop it. Okay, so I can't even try to take the ball from her. Cool. What else is there? Okay, so the animations in this game are always fun. Like, the super animation, that was, it's very flashy and fun. There's really not much to say. It's Mario Strikers. It's more of the same. There's not a lot of new content. Oh well. I mean, they changed some things. The way dives work now is affected by your character's strength. Whatever. I'm not even gonna play. Look at this. So it's a pretty similar experience to the previous games. They didn't really add much, but it looks a lot nicer. But there is one major change. In the Wii version, Mario Strikers Charged, when you body check Peach into the electric fence, like, she screams bloody murder. And that doesn't happen anymore, and that's just like an objective downgrade. So you might want to just stick with the Wii version, but I don't know. It's up to you. That version of the match was way less exciting than the other version, but hey, what are you gonna do? And speaking of which, I guess before we transition to the next game, we should probably just give like an overall. I already have. I mean, if you like Mario Strikers, you'll probably get some fun out of this, but it's... there's really not that much to do in it. I don't know. I feel like there wasn't that much to do in the previous games either, but I haven't played them in a while, so maybe there was. I mean, there are... This game was obviously made with online, like, in mind, but, like, you can still do cups offline. Like, you know, you got these. And then there's also a hard mode. Oh, a galactic mode. I actually never played this. But I also just didn't really feel like it, because I played through all these and I was like, yeah, I think I'm good. So that's kind of how I feel about this game. It's fun. Now, stop me if you've heard this before. It's a good game for what little of the game there is. Which is kind of how Mario sports games work nowadays. Except for Mario Tennis. That one was a bad game. But this game is... I should specify Mario Tennis Aces. This game is fun. Until you run out of things to do. That's really all there is to it. So now we're going to proceed to the next and final game. The final game I want to talk about is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Not the game itself, but the DLC, which, as I'm recording, and hopefully by the time I upload this, will still not be fully out yet, as we can, we'll check that in a second. As you can see here, there are still 5 characters remaining to be revealed, and I've actually got a little prediction that I can... I should have pulled this up beforehand, but I forgot I was going to say this, so I'm going to give, really quickly, I'm going to give my Mario Kart 8 character DLC predictions here. Where is it? Okay, so the 5 characters, assuming they weren't lying when they said that the 5 characters are going to be returning from previous Mario Karts, and assuming that that counts Mario Kart Tour. The 5 characters I predict are going to be in the game are Diddy Kong, Funky Kong, or Dixie Kong, but I think Funky Kong is more likely because he's already been, or because he was so popular in Mario Kart Wii. Pauline, King Bob-omb, and Kamek. Those are my 5 predictions. Not necessarily in order, that was just the order of when they were first released in a Mario Kart game. But now we'll take a look at the DLC. So you can see they announced that they were adding basically an entire extra game's worth of tracks, most of which are returning from previous games. Not all of them, though. A couple of them... I mean, some of them are from Mario Kart Tour. Some of them, like Ninja Hideaway, says that it's not from Tour, but it did release in Tour first, I believe. And then you get a couple, Sky High Sunday, I believe, actually did release here first, but it is now in the other game. Merry Mountain, I played in Mario Kart Tour, and I haven't played Mario Kart Tour in years, so that one is definitely from Mario Kart Tour. I don't know who they think they're fooling. Tricking. I don't know why I didn't just say tricking. I don't know who they think they're fooling, but Merry Mountain is definitely a Mario Kart Tour track. I'll give you Yoshi's Island though. That one's an original course. And then you see these 4 aren't out yet, so there's still 2 more packs. I do want to say that the trailer for this. See, I'm one of those people who's been waiting for Mario Kart 9 since like 2015. And no, Mario Kart Tour does not count. But I've been waiting for Mario Kart 9. I've been so desperate for Mario Kart 9 that I played Mario Kart Tour. And that should tell you everything you need to know. Because that game sucks. It is so predatory. Don't play that game. Okay? I don't care if you think it's fun. It's not. You're being lied to. You're being taken advantage of. Like, you know what? Do whatever you want. I don't care. The point I was making is that the trailer for the DLC was just cruel because there's a trailer with Mario Kart and it's like, Mario Kart 9, it's finally happening, it's time! And then it was just Mario Kart 8, again, for the third time. I mean, at the very least, it is new courses. It's an entire game's worth of courses for like a third the price, but still, I'm upset. I just want a new Mario Kart game. It's interesting playing the tour courses for what's essentially the first time, where I'm not familiar with them, so they have all these. Okay, so the way the phone games work is that, like, Berlin Byways, for example, there's like 3 versions of Berlin Byways, right? Berlin Byways 1, 2, and 3. That's how counting works. That's just how numbers work. And Berlin Byways, and not even that one specifically, but the tour courses in this game have like all of those versions because they're all made on the same map. It's just certain roads are closed off in certain versions. And the later tour courses, I think Paris Promenade is the one exception, but the other tour courses actually switch what track you're on for the final lap. So like Tokyo Blur, the first 2 laps you go in one road, and then the third lap suddenly you're going on a different road. And playing that for the first time, I swear, every single one that did that, maybe they didn't start until Sydney Sprint, I don't know, but every single one that does do that, I slammed straight into a wall every single time. And it was pretty funny. I remember Sydney Sprint specifically. I was in first place, ended in 7th because I turned the wrong way right at the end. So that was fun. So other than that, there are a few other things I want to point out. The GBA courses. This kind of happens to a lot of the courses, a lot of the retro courses, but especially the GBA ones. They're just unrecognizable. I played Sky Garden. I didn't recognize any part of it. Snowland is also in here somewhere. Snowland. If you told me that those 2 courses were just completely new courses, I would have believed you, because I did not recognize them at all. Calamari Desert also changes a little bit. Like the second lap, you're driving on the train track or something instead, which is interesting. It's not as drastic a change as some of the other courses, but that one is pretty interesting. Another noteworthy course is Ninja Hideaway, where you're just driving. Like, Ninja Hideaway has like 8 different paths that you could take through a lap. It's insane. It was very confusing the first time. But, I guess what I'm trying to say is that a lot of the courses that were included are actually, like, have been changed to be pretty interesting. Boo Lake, well, I mean, it goes back to what I was saying about the GBA games. All of the GBA courses are basically unrecognizable. But Peach Gardens is one of my favorites, because that one, you actually drive the third lap backwards, and that's one of the few retro courses, non-tour courses that just completely changes for the final lap. And I really hope they keep doing that in the other half of the DLC. And of course, Rainbow Road for the 3DS over there looks amazing in HD, so that one's really cool. And I think that's everything I wanted to talk about. I went on a huge tangent here. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that I am a big fan of the DLC. It's a little... I'm still a little salty that it's not Mario Kart 9. And it was clearly... I mean, you know, Mario Kart 8 is still selling gangbusters, so it makes sense why they don't want to release... Why they haven't wanted to release Mario Kart 9 at all in the last 10 years, but it's still disappointing. That being said, I think that this was a good middle ground, I guess. Even though I wanted to pay them $60, only having to pay them $25 instead, whatever. And I guess it was also an attempt to push the premium online, but like, who cares? Just pay the $25 for the DLC. I don't know. Like, if you want the premium online, then whatever. That's your. Don't let me talk you out of it. I don't want it, and I'm not gonna buy it. Unless, and I will go on record to say this, if they add a localized Mother 3 to the Game Boy Advance library, then and only then will I buy the premium online. And I think I've been rambling on about this way too long, especially because I wasn't really saying anything of value. I was just talking about the courses. And I think that's going to be the end of Mario Kart 8 DLC talk. Overall, even just what I've played so far is probably worth the $25, and I've only played half of it. So okay, looking at it from the perspective of what is here, I am happy with what we've got. But looking at it from the perspective of what we could have had, you know, a Mario Kart 9, for example, it's disappointing. But I can't say that it's a bad thing because it's 48 new tracks. It's literally a new Mario Kart of tracks plus 5 new characters. It's not a bad deal. And like, logically I know that, but my brain still just wants a Mario Kart 9, so it's like, no, I'm mad. But no, it is good, and I do like it, and I think it was worth the money, so like, I'm not upset about that. So, I think that I've rambled on about Mario Kart 8 enough, so let's move on to the last thing we're going to talk about. And for now, we're going to switch back to just me. Because the last thing I'm going to talk about, like I said, is going to be the Mario movie. Now, I was actually going to make an entire video about the Mario movie. This video was originally going to be a review of the Mario movie. Wow, I've been talking for over 2.5 hours. This was originally going to be a review of the Mario movie, but a month passed and I didn't make the video, and it was like, I mean, at this point, is there any point in talking about the Mario movie? I'm not going to be able to add anything that nobody else has said. So I guess I'll just tag it on here, and I'll just talk about my opinions on the movie. It was good. Luigi should have been in it more. He should have had, like, maybe 2 more scenes. I think that Luigi would have really benefited from 2 more scenes. One where he's talking with Cranky Kong in the jail cell, and he finds out that, you know, Mario and Donkey Kong got... I'm sorry, I should probably say that there are going to be spoilers here, so I'm not going to go past... I'm not going to say anything past the point where the first trailer ended, but that's still pretty late in the movie. So, if you don't want to hear about spoilers, honestly, there isn't much left to this video, so you could probably just click off now. But basically, Luigi, after the blue shell, I'm gonna assume that everybody who doesn't want spoilers is gone, but after the blue shell, when Cranky Kong is in the jail, he and Luigi should have had at least a short conversation where Luigi finds out that Mario is presumably dead. And a second scene for Luigi that he would have really benefited from is when the Shy Guys were capturing him, he has like a chance to escape or something, but he's too scared to do it. And just to really set up the cowardice thing, because as it stands, there's really only the one part where he's like, come on, you can't always be scared. You'd be surprised. Which, I love the line, but it's just, that was the only thing they did to set it up. And speaking of characters in the exact opposite, the character who had too much screen time was Toad, considering he didn't really do anything. If he's gonna be in the sequel, either give him less screen time, or give him more to do. Also, Toadsworth. If he's not in the sequel, I'm bumping an entire point off. It's just the rules. Okay, I'll give you one freebie for the first movie, but if he's not in the second one, it's an entire point. Speaking of being in the second movie, the Kongs should not be in the second movie. They should just spin off into their own series at this point. And speaking of Kongs, Driving Me Bananas was better than whatever song was in that part. Take On Me, was it? Was the Aha song? Is there anything else? Oh, and the Shy Guy, at one part when they're delivering the Ouija, there's like the Shy Guy and he says something like, oh, we found the intruder, or something like that. And it's like, whoa, I don't like that voice. I much prefer Shy Guys when they just go like, meow, or whatever noise they make. That's just me though. So that's all there is to say about the Mario movie, I guess, unless I want to make an entire video about it, which I don't at the moment because I've been talking way too long. So that is going to do it for this video, and sorry it's been 3 years with literally 0 uploads, but hopefully that will change going forward. And I guess that's about it. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you want, or don't if you don't want, because that's how that works. I think if you do subscribe, you'll just get a whole lot more rambling videos like this. So if you like that, I mean, to each their own, I guess, but don't worry, next time it won't be this long. I'm never talking about 10 video games at once again. This was a bad idea, but I mean, it's been 3 years, so I can make a super long movie, Beardicus Show the movie. That's what this was. I can do that once, because it was a hiatus. I think that's fair. But going forward, expect them to be more like 10 to 15 minutes about one game or whatever I happen to want to talk about. Actually, maybe 15 to 40 minutes. Let's say that, depending on what it is I'm talking about. Some things I could ramble on and on about for ever. Anyway, yeah, that'll do it. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time, and until then, have a good day, and goodbye.